This is a very casual sit down and plan and journal kind of video, like ease back into my notebooks. So we're gonna do that. I've got all of the different items that I'm using listed in the video description below. Leave a comment if I missed anything and you have a question about it. But it's pretty simple, I would say. So I'm gonna try not to like overly explain what I'm doing. Otherwise, I think it might get boring for you and me. I'm gonna try to talk about something else. Maybe give you some life updates and whatnot. Yesterday, I took some new profile pictures because I wanted to update it. It's been a really long time since I had an updated photo. The last picture I had up for a while was from January of 2024, and the most noticeable difference is that my hair has grown a lot. My hair grows pretty fast, but I had a pretty emotional experience around my hair loss and growth, and I thought I would share a little bit because taking those profile pictures yesterday, I hadn't done any self-portraits in a really long time. It just reminded me of how different things were looking for me back then. I mentioned it really briefly in a couple videos, but I had struggled with a pretty severe case of scalp psoriasis ever since I got pregnant with my first child, which was 5 years ago. And I think it was a whole combination of different factors that led my skin and my body to react in such a way with the inflammation and the scalp having so many scales and sores and stuff, and causing my hair to fall out in large clumps, which was honestly very frightening, but it also was very confusing because pregnancy and hormonal changes and stress can all cause those things. So I really didn't know what it was for a very long time. If you've ever struggled with this sort of condition, you probably know what I'm talking about, that it's not just on the skin. It's like an autoimmune disease. And I think a lot of skin conditions actually do, while they manifest on the surface, it actually indicates a bigger problem within. But I didn't know this. I just didn't have that knowledge. So I talked to my general practitioner and they diagnosed me with like steroid creams that I would then apply to my scalp. But none of it really was effective at all. And it was so persistent. Finally got to a dermatologist and they said it was like one of the most persistent and pretty intense cases. I think the word they used was intense cases of scalp psoriasis they had ever seen. And I was like, what is this? I guess I always thought I was always diagnosed with things like seborrheic dermatitis, which is basically like an intense case of dandruff. But I knew for a while that it wasn't just that. Like, it just seemed so much more severe, because like if it was just that, then I feel like the special medicated shampoos and like the creams would have helped, but none of it helped at all. And in the meantime, I was a new mom. I had 2 kids under 2 basically, and I thought that it was because of exhaustion and stuff from being a mom that was causing me to have joint pain, but it wasn't. And I think if you've been following me before I had kids, you would know that I did have to take a hiatus due to health problems. I was so fatigued, and I also had joint pain. I might have shared on social media, like I'm having carpal tunnel, pregnancy-induced carpal tunnel, and just like carrying my baby in the crook of my arm a lot in certain ways is causing my joints to ache. So I have so much like chronic pain that I can't really work anymore. So I took a break. And I think that I mentioned like postpartum depression as well, because it's all linked. I was so depressed from like not basically being able to feel as strong and as healthy. That caused me a lot of mental anguish as well. And I don't think I knew then what I know now, but now I can finally come out of the other end and be like, oh, it was psoriasis, which isn't just a skin condition, it's an autoimmune disease that affects your joints. And people who have scalp psoriasis specifically, because there's like different types of psoriasis, you can have psoriasis that shows up on your skin, you can have it different areas of your body. People who have scalp psoriasis are actually more predisposed to having psoriatic arthritis. So basically the psoriasis isn't just on the skin, it is actually in your joints as well. Your body is inflamed, causing overgrowth of cells in your joints and, causing arthritis and pain. So all of the aches and pains that I was feeling, which was leading me to be really tired and fatigued. I thought it was just being a mom, honestly, but it was actually like my body attacking itself as well. So that was what it was all doing to me. I was misdiagnosed a couple of times by general practitioners, I think 2 general practitioners, and then also 2 dermatologists. And I finally found a dermatologist that was able to provide me with answers. And I kind of was like, oh yeah, some of the, like my own Googling and stuff led me to that conclusion as well, that I have psoriasis. And she was like, yep, this is a pretty intense case of scalp psoriasis, which is why none of these other things are working for you. So she recommended that I would be a good candidate for a biologic injection, which is basically something that I have to inject into my body every 8 weeks. And then it would kind of like dampen my autoimmune system, like in a specific way that it doesn't cause that inflammation in my skin and also in my joints. So I finally got answers. I did have to consider some of the different factors that was going to go into starting this biologic. I was a little bit apprehensive because the thought of injecting myself with something like a medication, I wanted to be more informed and aware of what it was. And I wanted to know about the side effects. I wanted to know if it was worth the risk of the side effects. And I wanted to also know about insurance things like health insurance, because I don't have an employer provided insurance. It's like a little bit tricky. I live in the United States, so health insurance is actually a convoluted big mess. And so I wanted to make sure I had all that squared away and I had like backup plans and stuff. It's quite complicated, but they do have assistance through the actual medical company and like the manufacturer of the drug. And so I was able to kind of figure some backup plans out. So ultimately I did decide to go for it. I thought that, yes, there are a couple of side effects, which of course is unique to every person. I did decide to wait until I was done with breastfeeding. And I had actually breastfed both children each for almost 2 years each. So that was like kind of a lot, and on my body as well during that time especially. And then I decided to start the biologic at the end of 2023. And over a year later, I can say that over time, it really helped to clear everything up. Firstly, I don't have any more joint pain that I think is related to psoriasis or psoriatic arthritis. And secondly, my scalp healed up after a couple of months, and my hair was able to grow back because it was that effective. And I'm so lucky that the first type of medication I tried was effective. I feel like it would have been stressful to have to like go back and forth with different types of biologic medications, but I just lucked out, or maybe my dermatologist was like lucky or knew what she was doing and prescribed me the right one. So it has been quite a journey. I can't believe that 3 years ago I had no idea what was going on and my hair was falling out and I had no idea. And I just wanted relief from what was going on my scalp. And so I had to shave my whole head. It was really, I think, harrowing, not just from like a vanity standpoint of like going through hair loss, but also I think just the pain and the fatigue and what was going inside. I think also there's like definitely a correlation between people who have psoriasis and people who have depression. I think it's very much linked. And I think it had a lot to do with my postpartum depression. So yeah, I think taking these new profile pictures with the hair growth and just with my scalp being healed, it was just a really incredible moment to have come that far. And after that experience, I just really wanted to not take my health for granted. Just being able to feel like pain-free in my joints is incredible. And I don't want to lose sight of that. Like, I know that when I get older, I'm probably going to have my arthritis flare up again or something like that. And, you know, with old age, that can happen. And since I've already had it at such young age, I think I'm going to have it in the future. So I just want to take advantage of this time that I have now where I don't have joint pain and just like truly enjoy it. And I think that's why I'm so interested in exercise and working out, because doing weights, especially as a woman in my 30s, is so important. And especially as a woman with arthritis and with my autoimmune disease, it's so important for me to lift weights to maintain my bone density and strengthen my muscles and my joints so that I can kind of mitigate some of that arthritis in the future. And that's kind of like the reason number one why I work out. And the second reason is because of the mental health benefits. Like, I am so obsessed with the euphoric feeling that I get after I work out. And I think it is, has a lot to do with the dopamine and the serotonin stuff that goes on when you move your body. And also just like the feeling of accomplishment when you do progressive overload and you start to lift heavier and heavier. It's just like such a wonderful feeling. And I never thought I would say this because just a few years ago, like before I had kids, I was not really into exercising like that, but I definitely am now. So I feel like with the psoriasis, even though it was kind of awful and it had a lot to do with my depression and I hated having to shave my head, I feel like now on the other side of it, I'm like, all of these things really push me to prioritize my health and mental health in a way that I hadn't done before. So in a way, I'm kind of grateful for that. And I'm also prioritizing like whole foods and nutrition as much as I can anyway. So it kind of ties into my hobby of gardening, which I didn't really see as like, oh yeah, I want to eat like all vegetables and stuff. Like, I just feel like it makes so much sense. Like, it's all getting integrated, like everything, journaling for my mental health, processing my childhood trauma, all of that is intertwined. And I just feel like it's coming together so well. But yeah, that's what's been going on. And while these profile pictures might just be like a nice update for my website and for my social media to some, but for me, it really is a moment of celebration and just recognizing like maybe 2 or 3 years ago, I was actually super depressed and I'm in such a better space now. So that's kind of my story there, my journey with psoriasis and postpartum depression and everything like that. I know I haven't really gone that deep into why I took a long break from YouTube and from work. I think for back then, I didn't really have all of those answers as I do now. You know, back when I said, hey, I'm depressed and I'm really struggling with motherhood, I didn't go into the whole psoriasis aspect of it because I didn't know I had psoriasis. I didn't know I had this autoimmune disease back when I took that break. But I did want to speak on it now. And I think I've processed some of the sorrow and the pain of those years and kind of feeling sad that my early motherhood was so full of sadness. And I tried to focus on the joy of having children. But I was just sad that I wasn't like as vibrant and as energetic and as pain-free. And, you know, in some aspect of the hair loss as well was like, I didn't want to be in pictures because I had to shave my head and there was a lot of sores and bloody scars underneath. I didn't want to be in pictures with my kids when they were babies. And that was like, that's kind of sad to me. So I'm trying to make up for it now. I'm trying to take more pictures of myself looking healthy and taking pictures with the kids as well. And so that's why I wanted to make a point to take updated profile pictures. If you can relate, let me know. I don't know if I did a good job of talking about it in the way that I want to, so I may make another video talking more about my autoimmune disease, what psoriasis actually is, maybe with like citing my sources and whatnot. I'm just kind of I'm not a medical professional, you know, I'm just a person with the condition. So if you also struggle with psoriasis, or maybe you don't know yet, I highly recommend you talk to an actual medical professional. And if you are struggling with postpartum depression, I know, you know, that is a beast to deal with. It's so hard. I highly recommend you get help from a professional, because you know, I'm just a patient. I'm not a doctor. I'm not a therapist. So I'm going to leave some links as well. I think that would be the responsible thing to do. I'll leave some links to all of these resources in my video description so that you can get the care that you need and deserve. I don't know what else to really say other than things are looking up. I'm really excited. I guess I forgot to mention how I kind of knew that my scalp condition wasn't just seborrheic dermatitis or even just a bad case of dandruff. Like, the main thing that clued me in was that, besides like none of these remedies working, was that it was like red. My skin was bright tomato red. And that I felt like was different than just regular dandruff. So it was also like scabby. Like, it wasn't just like flakes of skin. It was like actual sores and scabs, and it would get infected. I don't want to gross anyone out, but that's just like my experience. And, you know, if you have that, it might help you understand. But this condition affects quite a large portion of the population. I would say it's not uncommon at all. And there's actually a lot more research being done about this autoimmune disease. So yeah, definitely check out the resources I'm going to link below to, like the World Psoriasis website and things like that. In other updates, I've been working on switching my shops. There's a sports car revving up right now in the neighborhood. As the weather gets warmer, there's going to be more noise, I think. There's kids like playing basketball outside, having fun, and people driving with their windows down, blasting music and whatnot. So I hope you guys don't mind. But yeah, people just enjoying their lives. I did want to update you a little bit on the Serica Studio front. Sam and I have been packing some wholesale orders for different wholesale customers, and then we are busy preparing for our shipment of restocked goods. And in the meantime, I am refreshing a lot of our website stuff on the back end. I hope to release like a new website on a different platform really soon, because since we are growing, I wanted to move to a different online store platform that has more robust options. So that is basically what I've been working on for the last several weeks, and it's taking a little bit longer than I thought, but I've just been chugging along, doing all sorts of admin stuff, but I'm really excited for it. And whatever impatience I have with how slow the process is going, I just have to remind myself that sometimes things just take the time that it takes. So yeah, working on some back-end stuff there with the online shop. And what else? Yeah, just all good things. Hopefully I will have more to share and actually show and tell in future videos. So that is pretty much it. This video was an unintentional little psoriasis postpartum depression story time. And yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed what I've done. Honestly, it was just a very chill little journaling session. I've been kind of thinking about what other videos to make, and I think I'm starting to land on like what I want my channel to be and like refresh it a little bit. So Yeah, it's gonna be a little rough around the edges for a while as I try to like formulate my thoughts around that, but hopefully you guys can understand. And yeah, let me know what you're up to in the comments. Let me know if anything resonated with you. Let me know what you're going through. And I hope that you all take care of yourselves. Until the next video, I'll see you later. Bye.